Still looking at me.
Hello Mighty Gang, it's Mighty Avenger, the multitasker, back into another reaction video, and this is a requested video from Collins, and which the title that he wants me to react is simply a former CIA chief of disguise breaks down 30 spy scenes that you from movies and TVs, in which the title itself, this is from Technique Critique, episode 10, Spies and Disguise. So basically, this is all what it is just break it down to of the difference between of all the spy gears and tech, which that's basically how that is, and not actually a thing. Than what it is in a real life in the work of CIA. So this is going to be interesting to see, and this is from the Wire TV. I never watched that channel, but I'm thinking about want to consider taking a look into it. And the fact is, this is a 27-minute long, so we'll see how it goes. But if it comes to that, I may have no choice but to break it down to break it to a two-part, because you know, limitations, and it is a drag, but what can I do about it? But it's my channel. But other than that, let's go ahead and dive into this. So it's time to react.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, that's very nice.
Totally pops.
That is sick.
Hi, my name is Jonna Mendez.
You may recognize her from our previous Wired video.
I was chief of disguise at the CIA. Today, I'm breaking down clips from movies and TV about spies and disguise. Roll clip. This is a box of passports and the Bourne identity. This is not the reality. There is no box of passports. There are no huge bundles of money, no guns. This sort of denigrates the expertise required to do alternate identity documents. It's painstaking, it's meticulous.
Can you check another name for me?
We don't do them just in case.
John Michael King.
They're too precious.
Yeah.
You do them one by one as they're needed. They're not waiting for you around the world.
I don't know about that picture. I don't know who I am.
Dying hair, Homeland.
Traveling alone? Morrissey.
I'm sorry?
I asked if you're traveling alone.
Yes. Carrie's disguise, which basically consisted of dyeing her hair,
Just get it over with, okay?
I thought was absolutely ineffective. Still Carrie with dark hair.
Don't you think I know that?
She could have cut her hair and restyled it.
That's not necessary.
She could have changed her makeup.
I've had a long day.
She could have put on some glasses to hide
Kinda
that kind of crazy-eyed look that she has that,
I mean,
you know,
Tell me.
jumps out at you when you
it's
see
just
her
she
character.
looks so
What do you
pale.
mean?
Yeah, I didn't think that was effective at
Yeah,
all.
Why are you
doesn't
doing
seem
this
like
to
it.
me?
In a similar scene in Alias, she dyes her hair in a bathroom before she goes through security.
Can I see your passport? You ever try this one? I think it's too light for me. What do you think?
What she did was absolutely spot on.
Thank you.
And she didn't just dye her hair. She dyed it outrageously red and then adopted the whole thing that went with it, including chewing gum while she's walking through the airport. And then she has that back and forth with the airline agent. I thought that was a brilliant scene.
Pretty on you. Thanks.
This is a great example of distracting
a
someone,
material.
Lipstick you use. I love it.
sweet talking to them,
Love it. Totally pops.
getting them engaged and getting
Or
them
in fact, too much-
away from
too
the
much
things you
clothes
don't want
that's
them
all
looking
red.
at.
Window or aisle?
We could have used that as a training film.
I know.
Long-term alias, The Americans.
From FX. Okay,
Have you been, Martha?
His disguises were convincing.
Tell me what you saw.
He was comfortable in them. His wigs were excellent.
Go on.
He was never trying to look good. He was trying to fit these characters that he had built.
Right.
He came really close to projecting the little gray man that we always would talk about at CIA. That
Really?
was sometimes, often, that was the goal. You wanted to be forgettable.
We have to safeguard their security.
Officers getting into disguise is a lot like method acting. The look is part of it, but if you're going to wear it for more than a minute, you need to inhabit it.
Have you been, Martha?
That's what he does.
Big day at FBI counterintelligence.
He becomes the guy in the disguise, the bureaucrat, the nerd.
Did you get a look inside this time?
The actor in him combined with the disguise. I thought he was brilliant.
Thank you.
The next clip is Quick Change, Mission Impossible 3. I've talked about quick change previously for Wired. Quick change is the ability to clandestinely change your appearance. You have 37 seconds to come out with those changes. It was not unusual for us to layer disguises. So you'd have the true person, and then he would wear disguise number 1, and then on top of that would be disguise number 2. We would never let that piece of a disguise fly away. That's evidence.
I need you to trust me.
There are 3 covers that are basically off limits to CIA, and that would be a religious figure, media figure, and Peace Corps. Not that we don't like the Peace Corps. We love the Peace Corps. But it has to stay kind of pure.
You gotta do what's right.
It cannot be suspected of harboring CIA officers. Can you imagine?
No.
Priests are so vulnerable. They're just out there. If they're accused of being a spy, they don't have any structure to protect them. They're too vulnerable.
God damn it.
We also don't use the media as a cover. Same reason.
And it's good.
For another example of quick change, take a look at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
As a shadow.
I think the change into the schoolgirl outfit was actually very well done.
Really?
It demonstrates a great precept that we always operated under, and that is that basically the bigger the crowd, the more forgiving they are. If you want to change your clothes in public, you can do lots of things you would never dream of doing. No one pays any attention. That's the whole point. We used that a lot in our training exercises back here.
Great.
It was always a way to lose surveillance. You have surveillance, and you have to get away from them to do whatever you need to do.
Talk to you soon.
Surveillance isn't following her face. They never are. They're following her profile. Profile was a blonde wearing dark rimmed glasses in a pencil skirt, and she just removed all of those pieces. It was well done.
Thank you.
And so to look at another shopping quick change, let's look at Baby
surprised.
Driver. As you can see, this time the alarms go off. The intent was good. The execution was okay. But again, you have to ask yourself, would we really recommend that? Because the odds of him getting caught and arrested for shoplifting are just too great. If you have everything with you at the beginning and you start revealing it, you start removing things, and you have a bag where you can store some things and maybe even a bag to put that bag in, that works. But we don't recommend stealing.
Never.
Blending in with the crowd, Casino Royale.
I think I remember that scene.
He's on the move. He's on the move and he's heading straight for me.
Stop touching your ear.
Sorry? Put your hand down.
In this opening scene, the man in the crowd was called out for having his hand up. He's holding on to his earpiece.
Put your hand down.
And he was so caught up in that motion that he forgot. And it was a giveaway. It started the whole scene.
Yeah, a rookie mistake.
Keep him alive.
We found a way around that by inventing something that didn't exist. It was a harness that was body worn.
Thank you.
A receiver that would be in our ear that we never had to touch, and an induction loop that went around our neck.
Right.
So we could receive and it would transmit to the earpiece. It was a no-hands kind of system.
Perfect.
Officer choosing disguise, Pink Panther.
I think you will like this one very much. It's very suitable for your face.
Classic
I'm particularly proud of the enlarged pores. Look at this one right here. No, I wasn't crazy about it either.
Wearing a disguise is not about looking good.
Oh, that's very nice. There is a nose.
Although in this scene it was all about looking good.
Are you having nose for noses?
So the officer didn't get to choose which nose he was going to wear. We would have made him a custom nose. He didn't get to choose the teeth. We would have made the teeth.
Here are some teeth on the house.
The hair.
This will keep you very warm.
The mustache.
That is too legal. Too legal?
A goatee if it was there.
Inky dinky doo. Inky dinky doo. Inky dinky doo.
A lot of that would have been custom made. Some of it could be off the shelf. What we were interested in is giving him a total look that he didn't have to like, but he had to wear it. We had to feel that he would wear it.
Look what you have done.
Nobody left our labs looking better.
You're a genius.
They left our labs looking different.
My dear boy.
The next clip is a worker uniform, 24.
Unrecognizable.
Makes sense to me.
This entire country will know what we look like in the next few hours.
People do that with military uniforms. There are a lot of uniforms that are just universally recognized.
There are hundreds of video cameras in there.
Oh, those are repairmen. They're fine.
Anyone asks, we're working on the air conditioning.
Get into one of those groups and you disappear and your identity becomes the identity of the group. And that's a good thing.
I didn't agree to this.
We don't have stores of maintenance uniforms or military uniforms.
We've got nothing here.
But we can arrange anything.
Fine, let's get this over with.
Cover story, Argo.
Just a little further.
Ben Affleck is playing my husband, Tony Mendez, in the movie Argo.
My name is Tony
Really?
Mendez.
It's a story of an exfiltration, one of many exfiltrations that my husband undertook over the years.
More than 30 years ago, we undertook a
that's
secret
him.
mission to save 6 Americans trapped in Iran.
This was a very successful exfiltration.
I'm going to get you home.
In this particular clip, the 6 house guests, as we called them, were using the cover of a Hollywood location scouting team.
It's okay, it's our job to take photographs. Production is on.
That was a subject they thought they could easily talk about. They could talk about Hollywood.
I don't know what the hell movie people do.
And be believable.
This would be a first.
So as a cover story, it was carefully selected.
We don't have any alternatives.
They came up with a Hollywood location scouting party.
They're a Canadian film crew on a location scout for a science fiction movie.
Rather than disguise them, we more restyled them.
These cover identities were created specifically for each one of them.
When they were choosing the cover for these 6 house guests,
What's your father's name?
Howard.
What's his occupation?
Fisherman.
it was unique because it was a group of people, not just one person. They had to find a cover that all 6 of them could believably speak about.
Believe that you're these people so much that you dream like them.
Looking at Argo gives us an opportunity to look at a real cover story and see how it was executed and see how it was carried off and to see that it performed its function.
Mission
Masks,
successful.
Mission Impossible. This is pure CGI.
Of course.
This is what we called an overhead mask. We could change your gender, we could change your ethnicity, we could turn you into almost anything.
Of course.
But we couldn't guarantee that that mask would animate.
Very sorry to hear you say that.
We were stuck with the measurements that we were presented with.
What's that?
Masks are always additive. You can't put a small nose over a larger nose. You have to make sure that your donor and your recipient are well matched.
You're probably right.
We had some aluminum molds that came out of Hollywood. They came in large, medium, and small. The size large was an old Hollywood actor named Rex Harrison. So he was taking part in a lot of interesting operations without his knowledge, I think.
Jesus.
Let's move on to the second Mission Impossible. Those Mission Impossible ones are really good.
Are you sure about this?
You could make a mask with someone underneath it with their mouth taped closed, but I can't think for the life of me of a purpose for doing that.
You don't know what you're missing.
You can still breathe through the nose, but it's always a relief to know that you can also breathe through the mouth.
Stop mumbling.
And so by taping the mouth, you really start restricting their air intake.
Freddy's got no choice.
How did they make these masks? Let's look at Mission Impossible 3. What if I said we had it? So you know when you go to the dentist and you have a dental impression taken, that's what we did to your whole face. Being very careful to keep your nose open so that you could breathe while this was happening.
Stop talking.
The mask that we just saw is a mixture of lights, CGI again, and they're flipping back and forth from the real actor to the actor wearing the mask, and it's invisible to tell where the real actor comes back in and is animated. It's a trick. Wonderfully done.
Thanks.
All right, this is where I'm going to stop here. But other than that, this is really interesting to know about that, because, I mean, that's the whole point about that. When you're being a spy, working to the CIA, it's pretty much all that you need is basically just... It's not about looking good, it's about being unrecognizable. And that will give you the leverage that you can to blend in the crowd. And, you know, in the movie Argo, and yes, I was aware about the movie and the story about a group of working at the CIA basically tried to go into Iran and to portray as a bunch of Hollywood producers from Canada, basically as a cover-up to save a few of the surviving Americans to get them out of there. So that's something I didn't even know about it, and maybe I think I need to watch that movie. And yes, there are differences between when you have to look presentable, and there's a difference of using too much. And that's where that's gonna give it a curious thought. I don't think I have what it takes to be a spy. I mean, not me. No. I can't, because I want to live. Okay, I just want to live and still breathing. It would be cool, but I'm nowhere near. No. Well, that's it for right now. So stick around for part 2 that I will be uploading it eventually soon. But for now, I will upload this one. So I am intrigued about this, and rest assured you, I will watch more of it. If you enjoyed that, let's leave it a likes, and also leave a comment down below. And if you have any requested videos that you want me to react, I'll be more than happy to do so. Mighty Adventure signing out, but I'll catch y'all in the next video. So good night, folks.